Isn't it like the first gen makes the wealth and the second gen spends it or whatever?
Yeah, it goes like the first generation makes the money, the second generation blows the money, or the second generation squanders the money, the third generation blows the money, and then by the fourth generation you're back to square one. Right, something like that. No, it's true, right? Because that's actually really true, because if you were born, so like it's a like there's an asterisk there, right? It's a like there's an asterisk there, right? Because it's like it depends. Like if it was our kid, right? It'd probably be true because we haven't had a kid yet. So if the kid was born, they just start rich.
Right.
There's no seeing the struggle. There's no like, oh, the value of hard work, being illustrated, right? It's just literally you're rich. And generally speaking, most rich people have less optical discipline, right? Because they don't need it as much, right? Like you don't have to be as thrifty with the way you spend your money. You can buy groceries and then you just don't end up making dinner with it, and then it just goes bad, and then you throw it out. It's fine, right? Like that type of shit. And so that instills a certain lifestyle expectation in the kid if they've never seen the parent have to work really hard, to get where they got. And so in those cases, I believe the money is mostly gone by the end of the second generation, and certainly by the third, because it's only getting worse, right? If you grew up rich and you're spending like a fucking drunken sailor, your kid is only going to see your decadent spending and amplify that, right? And so then you end up with kids who even have worse habits than you, who had bad habits. Now, granted, if your parents started becoming successful in your formative years, let's say you're 14 and your dad goes and founds his own business, right? From the time you're 14 till you're 18, you're watching your dad go through like this momentous, life-changing, process, right? And then you're in college, and then you get to see your dad, scaling the business, and maybe like you graduate from college and your dad's IPOing the business, right? You guys are rich as fuck, but you didn't actually grow up rich as fuck. You just became rich as fuck when you were cognizant enough to kind of understand what was happening. When you were cognizant enough to kind of understand what was happening. That person will have a very good life because, they probably picked up all of the right skills, but they also have all of the opportunity. Mm-hmm. Right? In that case, that's almost like another first generation wealthy person, even though they technically didn't earn it themselves, right? And in that case, maybe their grandkids will be the one who blow it. Yeah. Because I'll tell you this, guys, it's like, it's very hard if you're rich to raise good kids. Why? Can we have a civil conversation? Hello? Hello? Because it almost always looks like very socially or familially stratified. Very socially or familially stratified. Could you imagine you fly private and your kids, fly with you when you're going on a family vacation, but then when they get older and they want to take a ski trip with their friends, they're like, Dad, can we borrow the jet? And you're like, no, you're going to fly coach. That feels bad, right? And it only takes one of his friends whose parents do let them fly private to where it's out of your hands. They're going to fly private on that guy's plane, right? And so it's almost impossible because you need a collective group of rich people who are all committed to not spoiling their kids in the same regard. And that doesn't really happen. So you always end up with people spoiling them. It doesn't doom you to failure. I know rich people who are born rich, like very rich, like hundreds of millions of dollars, in real estate, right? Where they still are hyper achievers and productive. I don't know if this is like super I can't say if there's like a causal factor, but I remember one of them who fits that bill. They're getting driven around in New York City, right, by a driver, because if you're at a certain level, you don't drive. And him and his dad are sitting in the back seat, and then they have a flat, okay? And then the driver starts to get out, and the dad's like, no, don't. Like, stay in the car. Like, he goes, son, let's go learn how to change a tire. How to change a tire. So I keep cocaine and birds in my cigar lounge. And sometimes, when you have a line of cocaine ready to go, and you're just ready to, hit it, a bird flies by and lands next or adjacent to it. And if you've ever seen a bird near the wing flapping, right, it's like a plane taking off. The fucking cocaine just gets dusted. It's everywhere, right? And when that happens, now your cocaine is just lightly sprinkled all over the fucking bird. And so what you need to do is you gotta pick up the bird and you gotta do a line of bird. That's how you get your fix. Alright, come here, Bagon. I need to borrow you for a second. I gotta demonstrate. Now you can stream for 2 more hours. Like, so he was like miserable in his little, 14-year-old fucking blazer and shit, right? And him and his dad just get out and it's pouring rain, and then his dad is just teaching him how to change a tire. And he says it's felt so dumb and so extra, but like at the same time, you're learning something, right? Which is that, like, even if you can afford it, sometimes it's just good to roll up your sleeves and do the thing, just to not be incapable, right? Stuff like that. Like, that, it's hard though, right? Like, because the kid could easily be like, what the fuck, man? I'm not getting out of the fucking car. Hell no, dad. Like, what the fuck? Get fucking Jeeves to fucking get out. Like, we're paying him to fucking do this. No, it kind of depends, right? And the tone is set from the top. And it's very, very hard because it feels like you're treating your kid badly to them and, sometimes a little bit yourself when you're doing it too. Because you're denying them what you could easily afford to make a point, right? It's tough. Yeah, like Samsung, Korea is a whole different beast, man. When you get to dynastic wealth, and also just jockeying for power, like Succession style, right? It's a whole different ballgame.